So there's the Theravada and the Mahayana, two different schools of Buddhism. Two different schools, but going the same destination. It's the same. There's not that one is better than the other. A little bit different approaches, but it's aiming at the same destination. The Theravada, the two very basic Buddhist philosophies, Buddhist concepts, it's the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. And that's worth reiterating and talking about because it reminds you of many realities of life. So if you missed out Four Noble Truths, check it up with the website and you may be able to grasp some of the meaning in there. And in the Noble Eightfold Path, I have covered right understanding and right intention. The Noble Eightfold Path, just as a recap, as a review, it's right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right efforts, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Remember the three foundations of Buddhism: morality, meditation, and wisdom. So if we say we need to build a building with foundations, these are the three basic foundations. If we group the Eightfold Path into the three pillars of Buddhism, the three foundations of Buddhism, right understanding and right intention pertains to wisdom. You need to know why. You need to understand the world of what Buddha has been expounding on the world. Then you need to know right understanding and right intention, and that's wisdom. Right speech, right action, right livelihood, that relates to morality. And right efforts, right concentration, and right mindfulness pertains to meditation. So these are the three. So what is right speech? The Buddha divides right speech into four components: abstaining from false speech, abstaining from slanderous speech, abstaining from harsh speech, and abstaining from idle chatter. So why do we have to know all these things? So first of all, let's stop here and think about, why do I have to know about this? Right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood. Why do I have to know right speech? Because you need to know what is right and what is wrong to practice Buddhism. If you meditate and you don't know, after you meditated, you go out to the world, you're doing your work, you're going to do your daily chores, you go through your daily life without knowing what is right and what is wrong, with no morality, with no discipline. No one can become the Buddha without discipline. So you really need a morality standard to upgrade your meditation. Meditation and wisdom has to be supported by discipline, by morality. So we monks have 250 precepts to conform to. Nuns, bhikshuni nuns, have 348 precepts, 348 precepts to obey. Other than that, we also have the Bodhisattva precepts. Lay people, they have 5 precepts. First of all, of course, you have to take the 3 refuges. After taking the 3 refuges, you have the 5 precepts, the 8 precepts also. So these are the disciplines, morality standard. Why do we need a morality standard? I mean, I can do what I want. Well, why do I need a morality to practice Buddhism? Morality is to discipline yourself or discipline ourselves so that everything we do, accumulation of wisdom, studying, practice, meditation, all lead towards mental purification. It's a process of mental purification. Our mind is not pure. What do we do with our mind? Why are we not pure? I think I'm pure. I have a good mind. Buddhism is about the study of the mind, your own mind. And what is my mind? Let's get to the basic. What is this mind? What is this body and mind? What are we doing when we're interacting with the outside world? What are we doing? What do we have to interact with the outside world? We have the 6 senses. We think about how do we interact with people? How come we have anxieties, fear, disappointment, jealousy, hatred, anger, greediness? How come with all these problems, human problems, group problems, country problems, international problems? Where do these problems come from? All these problems originate from the mind. Are we not going to deal with our mind? All problems originate from the mind, not just from the body. The body is being controlled by the mind. The mind controls what? The mind controls your speech and your action and your thinking. Your speech is from the mouth. Your action, the body. Your thinking, your mentality. So the Buddha said, we cannot enlighten ourselves unless we know our mind, unless we know ourselves. So, all problems originate from the mind. How do they originate? How do problems originate from the mind? We have 6 senses. We have the 6 senses, right? Let's analyze ourselves. Can we analyze each one of us? What do we have? What do our mind do? Our mind controls the 6 senses. What are the 6 senses? The eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, and consciousness. These are the 6 senses. We have sense organs. These 6 senses correspond to what? What do our eyes do? Our eyes see. See what? See matters. Everything. With eyes, your sense organs as the eyes, it corresponds to matter, and then the consciousness, the eye consciousness is created. And how about ears? Ears correspond to what? Sound. Pleasant sound, unpleasant sound, indifferent sound. Ears corresponds to all kinds of sound. Imagine when your ears correspond to sound, when you hear something unpleasant, you feel unhappy. When you hear criticism, when you hear abusive speech, when you hear speeches that is detrimental to you, that deprive you of your dignity, you feel unhappy about it. So your ears correspond to sound. And because of this correspondence, emotions come out. Interaction come out. The ears, eyes, ears. Nose, to smell. Smells of perfume, smells of good odor, bad odor. All this correspondence. Tongue, to taste. Taste something good, something bad. And tongue is also responsible for talking. This tongue sometimes is the devil. This tongue can break lives, revitalize lives. This tongue creates family problems, the argument, the fighting, abusive language, harsh language, slanderous language, all comes from the tongue, from the mouth. So this tongue. A body touch tactile object. Silky, smooth, rough, rugged. So we've got all these 5 senses. How about the last one? Last one, the mind. The mind corresponds to what? The mind corresponds to all dharmas. D-H-A-R-M-A-S, dharmas. What is the meaning of dharma? Dharma is a very broad meaning. Dharma means everything. All thinkings, all philosophies, Actually, this mind also controls the foregoing 5 senses. The mind also controls the nose, the ear, the tongue, the eyes. Eyes itself does not does not discriminate. Nose, ears, they all don't discriminate. They're just receptive. They are the reception desks. They are the secretary is sitting at the reception desk. Behind, that's the manager. The manager, your mind. So all these senses corresponds to all these 6 dusts. We call it in the Buddhist terminology, the 6 dusts, D-U-S-T-S, dusts. Dusts pollute, Pollute what? Pollute your mind. They pollute your mind. How do they pollute? You should know. When you see something, you differentiate, you discriminate. The greediness is aroused. The harsh language is aroused. It's because of seeing. So all these senses create problems. And the Buddha said, watch out. Watch your senses as if you are guarding a fortress. Your 6 senses are a fortress, guarding it, and all these pirates outside, robbers outside, they're the sound, the matters, the 6 dusts are outside. You should guard them. Guard your mind. Put your mind under control. Why are we meditating this morning? Now you know the objective of meditation, not just for health. It's not a yoga. Of course, yoga it's an ancient name. It means harmony. It harmonizes you. It's become an ancient name. But meditation is not just to help you to relax. You have lessened the importance of meditation. It does not help you to relax. It promotes your spirituality. It gives you a lift to the higher spiritual level from the materialistic level. It lifts you up. It's the most important diet in daily life, a spiritual diet. Not just food. You think you only need food? This is even more important than food. Your mind. And some people say, I don't have time for meditation. I don't have time. Do you have the time to watch television? Do you have the time to laugh? Do you have the time to joke? Do you have the time for partying? You have all kinds of time, but you just don't have time for meditation. You don't have time to look within. You don't have time to look inside of you. You don't have time to understand yourself. And you have the time to understand others. You think you understand others without understanding yourself. It won't happen that way. If somebody treats you unfairly, you always say, he's got to improve. He's not been treating me well. My supervisor, my husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, they're not being fair to me. They always say, you need to improve. You need to improve. But do you know that in order to strengthen the relationship, improve the relationship, you've got to improve yourself first. Don't require others to improve first. Improve yourself. Look inside first. You can't get along with your husband. You can't get along with your wife, your brothers or sisters, your colleagues. Contemplate yourself first, your own mind. Well, some people say that there's a difference between psychology and Buddhism. And they say psychology is to studying other people's mind. Child behavior, criminal behavior, adult behavior, drunken people's behavior, driving behavior, the study of human behavior. But Buddhism is to study yourself, inner. Look at your own mind. By what? By doing this inner contemplation, meditation. There are three terms that have been interchangeably used. Meditation, concentration, and samadhi. There's three terms, they're interchangeably used. But there's a difference, a slight difference of this among these three terms. First of all, what is concentration? Concentration is you have an object. Of course, you have a subject. If I want to concentrate on my nose tip, I'm meditating in here, and I'm concentrating on my nose tip. I feel the breath in and out, in and out. That's my object of concentration. Who is the subject? Who is the subject? Who is that is concentrating on the object? That's your mind. So you concentrate, that's an object. You're meditating, you have an object. Sometimes you may be meditating on a candle of flame, on anything. 3 feet away, on something, on a pond, on the water, you name it, you got an object. And you concentrate, and then after a while, your thought goes away. You cannot concentrate on the object. Your thought goes away, you bring it back again. Your thought goes away, you're thinking of other things. You're a monkeying mind, as Lee said. You have monkeying mind, your mind always go away. You can't concentrate. If you really have a continuation of concentration for half an hour, fixed, just concentration, you have very, very good power of concentration. Anyone who has deep concentration would do well because he has very good mentality. A student that has intensive concentration will be an A student. A worker who concentrates on his work is always fine workers. So that's concentration. Your thought goes away, you bring it back. Goes away, bring it back. What is meditation? Meditation is, you meditate, you have an object, you have a subject. Your thought don't go away. Your thought concentrates subject to object, subject to object. That's very difficult. You don't have wandering thought. It's very difficult. You are one level higher. You are a one-to-one correspondent with the object without going away. In other words, your senses at this fortress is under control. All these pirates, robbers of the outside world, they can't enter because you are at your own guard. You guard your fortress. That's meditation. There's a higher level than concentration already. So what is the third? Samadhi. Samadhi is spelled S-A-M-A-D-H-I. Samadhi. Samadhi is you, the subject, and that object is one. You're one with the object. There's no more I, it's just this correspondence left. You're one with it. You're not two. Subject and object are two. Duality. You live in a world of duality. We always live in a world of duality. Why are we living in a world of duality? Duality means two elements. Hatred, love, handsome, ugly, beautiful, ugly, tall and short, rich and poor. You always discriminate that way. Kind and unkind, good guy, bad guy, rich guy, poor guy, healthy guy, unhealthy guy. You label it, you stereotype it, you attach something, you define it. But when you're in samadhi, you are beyond duality. You're one with it. You have no discrimination. Your mind starts to be pure. Because you only have you have one. There's no two, we only have one. Is that the end of it? If you get to samadhi, is that the end? Why do we need this one? Can you get rid of that one? Even that one is attachment. Why do you have to attach to that one? That oneness. Go beyond the oneness. When you go beyond the oneness, all of a sudden you have a whole vista of panorama of things open to you. That's what we call the first step to enlightenment. Because you're beyond oneness. Oneness is not enough. Oneness is only samadhi. So, do you know the difference between these three words? It's not just knowing the meaning of the words. You really have to practice it. Knowing the meaning of the word is easy. Check the dictionary. Write it out. Stick it to the wall. Definition of concentration, definition of meditation, definition of samadhi. You stick it to the wall, you brush your teeth every day and look at the definition, and you think you get enlightenment by knowing the definition. No, you really have to practice it. Talking about it is no good. There was a here I am. I should be talking about right speech, right action, and right livelihood. But I want to go to a story. Let me continue with this. I shouldn't go to a story. What I want to do is tell you a true story about someone who is illiterate and who had satori. But I keep that for other times. Okay, so what is right speech? Let's get back to it. What's right speech? Right speech is, the Buddha said, right speech divided into four components. We should abstaining from harsh speech, from false speech, from slanderous speech, and from idle chatter. Now, the word abstaining or abstinence gives the connotation of being negative. How come in morality and precept you always say, you can't do this, you can't do that? It's always negative. You can't have idle talk, you can't have harsh speech, you can't have slanderous speech, you can't have false speech. Why is it always negative? But actually a precept is not, it has two parts. One is the abstinence or the abstaining part, abstinence from unwholesome. And the other is commitment to the wholesome. Abstinence is to avoid it. Commitment is to do it. So not just the negative part. It's not just, I don't do this, I can't do this. I can't do this, but I'm going to do this. It's positive. I can't lie. That's negative. It's good, you can't lie. I abstain from lying. But the other positive part of it, I want to speak the truth. I want to be truthful. I can't commit killing. That is the avoidance part. But on the commitment and performance part, I want to release life. I want to save lives. Not just abstaining from killing. I want to promote vegetarianism. I want to protect animals. So that is the two parts to a precept. Not just the negative part, there's the positive part in a precept. So what does the scripture say about abstinence from false speech? The negative side is abstaining from lying. False speech means lying. The positive side is speaking the truth. When greed is the motive in a lie, it is aimed at gaining some personal advantage. With hatred as the motive in lying, lies become malicious, intending to hurt or damage others. When hatred is in your lying. Walking the path of enlightenment is to seek the truth. So commitment to truth is the most important, helping us to get into the domain of knowledge and wisdom. To realize truth, we must bring our whole being into accord with reality, of actuality, which requires that in communication with others, We respect things as they are by speaking the truth. We can't lie. Buddhists can lie. You have to speak the truth. So, to put it very simply, that is abstinence from false speech. That means do not lie. So what is abstinence from slanderous speech? Slanderous speech is speech intended to create enmity and division, to alienate one person or group from another. The motive behind slanderous speech is generally aversion, jealousy, and resentment of others' successes or virtues. The opposite of slander is speech that promotes friendship and harmony. Such speech originates from a mind of loving kindness and sympathy. So, other than just abstaining from slanderous speech, your speech should be what? Always promote harmony, promote friendship, always originates from loving kindness and compassion. Can we all do that? You said, oh yes, we can. But slanderous speech always uttered from mouths all the time. At a work site, in a company, how did they slander other colleagues behind their back to gain the support of the supervisors, to stab people's back in order to climb up the echelon? How did they get jealous of other colleagues' success, other colleagues' achievement, and slander them? Because of jealousy. So the Buddha said, watch out for these senses, watch out for these things. When you're guarding it, watch out for harsh speech, slanderous speech. No one can become a Buddha without morality. Not just believing in a Buddha. I have complete faith in a Buddha. Buddha can save me. No, that's not Buddhism. Buddhism is to reform yourself. Buddhism is to depend on yourself. Buddha tells you the way. You got to walk it. Buddha can say, I promote you just with my own efforts. No, Buddha can't do that because you have your own karma. Buddha can tell you, this is the way to walk. You got to walk it yourself. Harsh speech includes what? Abusive speech, insulting speech, and sarcasm. Abusive speech involves what? Scolding, reproving another angrily with bitter words. When someone uses abusive speech on you, patience, tolerance, sympathy, feeling of non-retaliation, non-violence. Can we all do that? It's easy to talk about it. When people abuse you with speech, what you're thinking is, I got to be a fool if I don't defend myself. I got to bounce back. I can't step back. I got to be strong. I protect myself. The Buddha said, be patient. Train up your own patience. Serious aspirants on the path of enlightenment, they don't do idle talk. So we monks, when we talk to people, we always concentrate in Dharma talk. We won't talk for the purpose of promoting public relations. Sometimes we don't even say, this is contradictory to Western culture. So when monks, when they're walking in the compound, in the temple, when they see each other, they just do this. They don't even say, hi, how are you? No, they don't even do that. So when next time when you see me, I just not there, I already have changed. We just say this, or we don't even do that. We just look at and maybe a little bit of smile and that's it. We don't talk too much. We talk too much. We talk excessively, and problems come from talking. Buddha mentioned 3 components of right actions: abstaining from taking life, abstaining from taking what is not given, and abstaining from sexual misconduct. We'll discuss this in order. What is abstaining from taking life? Abstaining from taking life is abstaining from killing. Abstaining from taking life has a wider application than simply not killing. People say, I'm not killing human beings, so I refrain from killing human beings. It also includes all sentient beings. This means human beings also include animals, even insects. So you can't even kill animals and insects. Plants are not considered to be sentient beings, although they are sensitive. Plants are sensitive. They have photosynthesis. They don't have the full-fledged consciousness. They have movement. They have photosynthesis, but they don't have the full-fledged consciousness as humans do. So we eat vegetables. Some people may argue, and if you say that shouldn't kill any sentient beings, you're killing plants. Plants has consciousness. Plants do not have full-fledged consciousness. Plants have sensitivity, have photosynthesis. It reacts to water, reacts to sunlight, but it does not have the in-depth consciousness as humans do. They don't have consciousness as maternal love, paternal love. They don't have that. Plus, plants, if you kill a human being or kill an animal, if you kill a cow, then that cow cannot reproduce itself. But if you eat a plant, plants have millions of seeds. It continues its life by those spreading of seeds around. You can grow. Plant contains seeds. That's how we keep plants going. A plant's life is continued by seeds, by the propagation of seeds. So you didn't kill its life. So plants are different. So what is abstaining from taking what is not given? It means stealing, robbery, snatching, fraudulence, and deceitfulness. So if you take the precept of not stealing, it's not just taking things away. Stealing contains many aspects. So that means if you have taken the precept of not stealing, and if you sign up a contract, a fraudulent contract to cheat others, you're not obeying that precept of not stealing, fraudulence. So that's abstaining from taking what is not given. And there's more examples to show some people take the precepts of not stealing, but every day they're breaking that precept, and they don't know about it. Now, give you an example. If you're working, for example, in a telephone company, and you're the operator, and you can call long distance, and the cost of the company is almost like minimal. It's maybe 1 cent per minute or something like that. And you're the operator, you're working for that company, and you have the spare time, you're making all this international call on the company's time, using the company's money. That's deceitful. You break that concept, you don't know about it. And you're working as a manager, and sometimes you have some idle time. And during the idle time, you sit in your office, you open the drawer, take out your sutras, and you read Diamond Sutra, or you read other sutras, you learn about it, and you think, I'm studying the Buddha's way, it's good, I have some spare time. But you're using the company's time on your own, you're cheating. And you say, I'm practicing Buddhism. Yeah, you're benefiting yourself. That's still not right. You're reading a sutra, you're improving your wisdom, but you are using the company's time. You're cheating. You're breaking that precept, and you don't know about it. And how come I always think that I'm obeying all my precepts and conforming to all my precepts, and actually I'm breaking it all the time? You don't know about it. And sometimes you open the company's stationery cupboard and you took out pencils and erasers and notebooks and all kinds of stationery and bring that home to use. You're stealing. Nobody knows about it, but you are stealing. And you think you are a Buddhist and you're not stealing? You've been doing stealing. I have been doing. I'm not blaming you. Don't get me wrong. I don't know whether you're doing that or not. I'm not blaming you. But you've been stealing every day. And you don't know about it. You're cheating the company. You cover up your errors. You cover up for others. That's fraudulent. And even many Buddhists do that, and they don't know about that. Those things, those misdeeds slip off unnoticed. So that's why you have to study Vinaya, Vinaya. You have to study the precepts canon. There's a whole canon, literature of precepts that you have to study in detail, what you should do and what you should not do. It takes time to study them in detail. What is abstaining from sexual misconduct? For the lay people, sexual misconduct means to have an intimate relationship with a partner other than your spouse. You're legally married. So intimate relationship between husband and wife, that's not sexual misconduct. If you are having intimate relationship with a partner other than spouse, that's sexual misconduct. And many people commit that. And they take it for granted, it is right. That's not right. Sexual misconduct sometimes accounts for many crimes, many dire and terrible consequences originate from sexual misconduct. One of it is obvious, is raping, child abuse. All these stems from that illegitimate sexual desire. I was going to finish right livelihood too, but I'm going to stop at this point. What did I talk about today? I talked about the Eightfold Path, the Noble Eightfold Path, right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right efforts, right concentration, and right mindfulness. And I have covered today just right speech and right action. Right speech, abstinence from slanderous speech, abstinence from forced speech, abstinence from abusive speech, and abstinence from sarcasm. Can we all do that? Can we abstain from doing this forced speech? Right action. What is right action? Abstinence from taking away lives or killing. Abstinence from taking what is not given. Abstinence from sexual misconduct. This precept sounds simple, but we are breaking them every day. In the four-part Vinaya, there's a canon of precepts or sila called the four-part Pratimoksa. Monks obey 250 precepts. And that's this sexual desire precept is, we can't even originate the thought. So for example, if a monk sees a woman, a beautiful woman, for example, and the monk thought arises, oh, that's a pretty lady. That's a first thought, a pretty lady. If the second thought comes out, that links to the first. Oh, that lady is really beautiful. Oh, look at the body. That's the second thought. The second thought comes, you already have broken the precept. We can't even have the second thought, not to say the action. Lay people can perform the action of sexual misconduct, of course. Why? Why do we do this? Why do we have to obey these precepts? To purify your mentality. That's the whole idea of Buddhism. Our mind is not purified. Because our mind is not purified, we've been doing misdeeds. Because of these misdeeds, from the body, from the mouth, from the mind, we have been creating karma, bad karma. Because of this bad karma, we are reincarnating. We reincarnate life after life after life in different forms. Sometimes a man, sometimes a woman, or in the animal realm, in the hell realm, in the ghost realm. We've been suffering. Even as human in the human realm, we're all different. Some are poor, some are rich, some are healthy, some are unhealthy. Some are being abused at childhood. Some are being honored and given good education from grade 1. A lot of parental care for some and lack of parental care for others. Why is this different? They created their own karma. We created our own karma. Watch your mind. Your mind create all this. Not a creator create it for you. You work out yourself with you do all these things yourself. Don't blame others. That's why you got to watch yourself. Very logical, isn't it? Very scientific. You are responsible for your own actions. You sow what you reap what you sowed. You're responsible for everything. Sometimes I think to myself, Buddhism is a religion of responsibility. It's not putting the responsibility on others, on the Creator. You're responsible yourself. You got to be a responsible father. You got to be a responsible mom. You got to be a responsible son and a daughter. You got to be a responsible worker. You got to be a responsible student. You got to be a responsible teacher. Can everybody be responsible? The whole world will be much better